Okay, so with that, I'd like to welcome you to our roundtable, where this month we'll be focusing on some of the leadership, some of the tools that are available for our leaders to help them, do their job and run a good program and keep our scouts involved and engaged in there. So every meeting should have a plan, right? And where do we come up with these plans and work with them? Well, there are a lot of tools that are out there, and I'm going to start doing my share screen here to show you a variety of them. So, one of the first things is a good plan, an absolute good plan. And I will share these out in the chat room in just a little bit. So, in the Cub Scout side, we have what's called a den meeting program plan. And in here kind of lays out most of your meeting and what you need to do for this. So, if you look in here, we have the before the meeting starts, while the Cub Scouts gather, our opening, talk time, activities, um, closing, and then after the meeting. And it gives you spots for what are we doing in each of these. And this is an area where you would fill in who's doing it, who's responsible, what equipment's going to be needed. And you can write these out for a wide for everything that you need. Now, here's the nice thing is can be a little daunting as a new unit leader, right? We come in and it's like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Well, we have a lot of good resources that are out there in the Cub Scout program. And don't worry, troops, I'm going to be coming to you in just a second. So um, this is just a quick scan of the Webelos Den Leader Guide. So every den level has their own guidebook for this. And I'm just moving it to the top of it, I hope. So the Webelos Den Leader's Guide. Now, the nice thing with this guide is, as we come back to where I was, is we're going to get right down into a meeting plan. So there's a plan for your overall year of what kind of adventures you're working on and what your schedule is going to be for this. Den meeting at a glance. So this breaks out how a generic den meeting goes, and it kind of fills in the blanks for you, what you should be doing in here and how long this should take. But where this really starts to shine is when it comes to the actual den meetings. When it comes to, sorry, I should have bookmarked by page. There we go. So when it comes to like this one, Cast Iron Adventure, so it's telling you where the information is in the book that they should be looking for. Notes to the den leader on working on this adventure. And then there you go. It's made a den meeting plan for you. There's meeting one. That's everything that you should be doing. It has your gathering, your opening, your talking points. It has activities. And even though it lists the three of them, like it's telling you that the requirement 1, 2, 3, you look in the book, some of these are optional requirements, some of them are mandatory requirements, but it's giving you options. So depending on how the time runs, you can do one or all of them. Your closing and your after meeting. And then look at that, followed right by den meeting 2. And this one's telling you this is the outing portion of it, right? Because there's meetings and then there's outings. And then den meeting 3. So this actually, in all of our Cub Scout books, all of them, it breaks out the entire den meeting for you for every activity that you're going to be working on. And it doesn't matter if it's Lions, Tigers, Wolves, Bears, Webelos, AOL, oh my. All the books are broken out like that, which makes it a huge resource. So this book is available in a couple different ways. One, you can buy it as a hardbound paper copy. You can purchase a PDF version of this online through scoutstuff.org. You can Google it and maybe find where somebody has scanned it and put it uploaded. But another really good resource for this, I'm going to change my share screen on here, is Scoutbook. So if we get into Scoutbook here, so I've talked before about Scoutbook and the advantages of it, and it's a great unit management tool. However, as a part of Scoutbook, they have one Scoutbook for den leaders. When you go to Scoutbook, and there's a specific login you can use, but if you just go to Scoutbook, and we'll post this in the chat room a little bit, you'll see that there's a den leader landing page. You can actually go straight to that. Now, the very first time you go to Scoutbook for your den, if you've never done this before, it's going to want you to set up your den. And what it does is it asks you a few questions like, how often do you meet? What time do you meet? What days of the week do you meet? Blah, 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 blah. And then it fills in the calendar for you. Now, what it does is it takes, we'll just argue Weeblos, just because I had that part of the book up. It knows that, okay, if you have anybody that's left with Bobcat, it throws Bobcat in there as stuff to be done. And then it takes all the requireds and it throws it into this calendar. And what it does is it takes each den meeting as it was shown in the book, den meeting 1, den meeting 2, den meeting 3, and it actually puts it into your calendar. And then from there, your den's all set up. It'll send out reminders for you to your den about the upcoming den meeting. It already tags certain things as homework, which were the same things that were recommended in the book. And it will send reminders saying, hey, you've got this homework to be done. The other cool part on top of this is that when you check off attendance for the people who showed up, it'll actually automatically update your advancement. So you won't have to go through and then check off, we completed requirement 1A, 2C, 3. It takes the den meeting plan that was put into the computer, put in this system. And if everybody attended, it updates them unless you go in and tell it you didn't do that part. So all you do is you go into that scout book, you make adjustments to what was done or what wasn't, and then you check off attendance, save it, and it makes all your updates for you. It will also email the people who did not show up and let them know that this was covered and that they need to make sure that they're taking care of this with their own Aquila. The other part of that den leader resource on Scout Book, and it's only in Scout Book, is all of the leader manuals are there for digital download. So if you are if you're a den leader, right, that's a registration, but then you are assigned into wolves, bears, weevils, however you're in your pack, they've assigned you as a den leader to a specific den. By having that assignment in the den, it will bring up the den leader's guide for you. That'll become a digital download for that stuff so that you can get the specific pages that you need for that. So it's all right there. So not only is it on Scout Book, then they give it to you as a PDF. And you can see here on the right-hand side, it's showing you the stuff being marked as done in that picture. And that's part of the online resources that they have out there. And that plan out the year on the snap, that's where it's talking that it fills in your calendar for you. And then you just move things around because it's going with its own format of required, and you have to plug in the electives. But that doesn't mean it's locked, that's the schedule you have to follow. You can adjust that schedule all you want. So it's putting it in there based on the den meetings that were recommended in Weeblo's Leaders Guide or whatever guide you're working off of, but it sets it all up. So, and it makes it very easy to track all of this information. So, many of you have heard from me before. I'm a big fan of Scout Book. I like the tool that's there. For our brand new den leaders, Scout Book for den leaders is awesome. They give you so many tools, and you can actually plug in who's handling what parts of things. And it tells you the equipment. I mean, it fills it all in for you. This is one of the great things that was done by volunteers in developing this one for our brand new unit leaders. So there's that. Just while we're on this section, I want to take a look at a couple other websites that are helpful for the Cub Scouts. And then let's hit some generic for all, and then we'll get to the Scouts. So there is a page up on our national webpage, which is Den Leader Resources. It starts right off with, well, this one's on Weeblos. But in here, if you're looking at the Den Leader Resources, it's giving you where all these things are. So there's all the manuals that are available, each one broken out with their stuff, talking about Scout Life, Scouting Magazine. But here's this really good one right here is this Den Leaders Tips and Tricks. So if I click on that, what this is the page that was just on. We're just resetting it. Maybe I'm resetting it. Okay. So on this, there are a lot of help videos that are here to help you plan out your meetings and do activities. So this one, Den Leader Experience, is talking about, giving you more of a tutorial on Scout Book. But then there's videos on our rank overviews and what's being accomplished through those different areas. Den leader tips, crafts, living circles. What are the 6 essentials? How does the buddy system work? How to run a den meeting as an overview. Doing a candle flag ceremony. Some very specifics on Scout Book in here. And of course, then they have them in other languages that you want. But there are a lot of videos in here that are here to help you out. These videos were, for the most part, developed by other den leaders who are running the program. So there is a lot of good information right in there alone. And I would encourage going and looking at that. Whether you're brand new or experienced, there can be a lot of help that shows up in there. Same page again. Clear off some pages. Okay, so then getting back to the other resource I was looking at. Okay, so we're looking at those, and then, like I said, so there's our den meeting plan. Well, just like in Cub Scouts, we have a meeting plan, right? We plan, right, to have our best foot forward. On the same thing in the troop, we have that one as well. And this was just a simple, search for this, and I'll show you where to get this information as well. But here is a troop meeting plan, and again, the pre-opening, opening, instruction, skill instruction. Are you doing breakouts like your patrol meetings? Game or challenges going on, closing, and then afterwards. And then you'll be able to fill in the blank for what's going on, how long it's planning on being, what the theme of the meeting is. So it really does give you a lot of that information that's there. So the one thing that's part of, let's call it the group instruction, that's, when these were developed, this wasn't a huge area at the time, because a lot of this is information that has been there. So, they didn't kind of create the updates for this yet, but strongly encourage you to do. And this is mine for tonight, is a safety moment. So safety moments are huge. We're an organization that does a lot of outdoor activities. We have a lot of fun, but accidents can happen. We also teach a lot of first aid, right? We look in Scout Life magazine and, Scout Saving the Day. We have our different awards for performing first aid and care, but the best preparation is prevention. And a little reminder and education about different things going on is vitally important, no matter who we are. And the BSA has a wide variety. I think the latest count is like 70 plus safety moment topics. And I'm going to put it in the chat room, of course. But again, if you just go and do an internet search on BSA safety moments, this site comes right on up. And it doesn't have to be the BSA. You can use your own version of safety moment, right? Something that's come up. I've done safety moments on, I saw what could have happened there. To, something I read about in the news that was going on. OSHA has a lot of good information out there. We had one presentation at a board meeting that was from Canada's version of OSHA. So it was kind of interesting. It was good news. But nothing says it has to be this, but you should always incorporate a safety moment into all of your meetings, not just troop meetings or den meetings. It should be in PAC meetings. It should be in your committee meetings. When you do a patrol leaders council meeting, it should start off with a safety moment. And it's good for not just the same person to always be doing a safety moment, different people talking about it. It makes somebody look into a little bit more. Now, when we look at these safety moments, like I said, 70 plus safety moments last I knew, but when you go into any one of these, so for example, like the aquatic safety one. So when you go in there, it actually give you like a PDF version of either a handout or just a script you can read off of, or, kind of talking points, and do that. A safety moment is only meant to be, just a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, to just hit on a topic. And you can see that they're just on a quick, they're all very specific topics. There's not a broad, all about camping. No, it's very specific, like behavior around campfires. Bunk beds is very specific, right? Carbon monoxide, chainsaw safety, concussions, dealing with a very specific topic. So not meant to be broad. And of course, you want to do it appropriate to the group that you're talking to. So, You may have to change the way that you're making the presentation depending on your audience. So here as well, again, on the national page is some great information. We're going to start right off with True Program Resources. So True Program Resources right off of there is a great resource. I've used it a lot. And it can break out your meeting plans for you. So they have a wide variety of topics in here and videos that lead to the other areas, but you can see the troop meeting activities, which we'll be getting to, camp craft skill videos. If you're a little weak on a knot, fire starting, night, sharpening a knife, things like that. Those are the skills that they'll show you there. So you can use them to learn ahead of time. You can use them to reinforce at the training, that's going on at your troop meeting, whether other scouts are putting on the training or you're putting on the training. There are videos that are there. If you're looking for ceremonies and things along that line, troop meeting ceremonies is in there. Leader minutes we'll come to in a minute. So True Program Resources is really that. There's a wide variety of resources that are here for this. Part of that is the program features. This is a 3-volume book that you can purchase if you want. You can purchase it in hard copy. You can purchase a full digital download of each version of each volume of it, or you can come right here for free and you can get the information. And there is a wide variety of it on here. Outdoor program features. And I'm just doing a quick scroll so you can see some of these that are here, but I'm going to be very specific, and my own fault. I should have done this beforehand. I'm going to, let's click on orienteering. So right there's a small video on it. And then get to here. Wait a minute. There we go. So there is the information, and it starts setting up all the stuff that you need for your orienteering, along with the recommended troop plan. So as you start getting into there, it'll start laying out a recommended meeting plan for you, so that you can start working with this stuff there. And here it is already kind of starting to load this right in for you, right? Your compasses, your maps, does have downloads so that you can print off that report as well, not the report, but print that off as well. So again, you're working with your troop or maybe your PLC, however you plan your troop meeting or how that works. Your brand new troop, your brand new leader, you're looking to give guidance to the youth leadership who's going to run the meeting as they're planning those monthly meetings or the weekly meetings with the monthly theme. There it is, has everything lined up. This is great for the people who need the additional support or just looking to make things a little bit easier on themselves. Now, it's not an all-inclusive list. Can you make your own? Absolutely. That's why there's blank templates, so that it's not an all-encompassing list. So you might come up with one, or the troop comes up with one, and they want to do their own thing on it. This is great. You got one, the blank template that you can use to set that up, but two, you have the format on the other troop program resources to get an idea of what should be being done. And as you get used to the timeframes on this, it'll really start helping you develop your troop meeting plan, because you want to have a definite plan, because the fail to plan is a plan to fail. And we want to avoid that at all costs. So with all these meetings, always near the end, no matter, our den leaders, our cub masters, our scout masters, our advisors, we have an end, a summary, a leader's minute, so to speak. We jokingly refer to as a Scoutmaster's Minute. And right in here, again, right on the national site, and this is not the only place, I'm going to show you another resource or two in a minute. There are different leader minutes that are out there. You can take one of these and use that. And you can see that they have some that are just, discussion. Some are with props, some are without props. I always try, when I plan my minutes or my minute, to put it around the theme of whatever the topic was today. So does it have to be? No, because sometimes something happens and it brings right up to your forethought. Other times, I want to plan my minute, so I'm not sitting there with the I'm thinking of saying something. So I will plan my minute and make my notes around what the plan for the topic was tonight, so that way I can focus on that and reinforce the skills that were talked about. So these are not just for the Scoutmasters, they're not just for crew advisors, they're not just for den leaders or Cub masters. They're all around good ones from there. So scouting itself provides a lot of good resources that are available for us. But we are a group of volunteers, volunteer driven with professional support and guidance, and give a volunteer project and they go right to town on it. And one of the great resources for volunteer driven information is this U.S. Scouting Service project. This is all information that was put out there by different volunteers, and it's kind of a clearinghouse of information. You can see that they have topics at the top of it. It goes everywhere from skills, advancement, minutes, border reviews, how to track this, how to track that. Even have clip art that's up there. Merit badge resources. So it's a good area to look. And I would encourage going online and looking right now. And I would also ask if any of you have some go-to websites that you use, that please post them in the group for everybody else. You can find sites. There was one, and I couldn't find it at the moment I was looking, but it was like Den Mother, I think is what it was called, back when I was doing Cub Scouting. And it was just full of Cub Scout reference material. It was basically a mom who, as she was moving through Cub Scouts with her kids, every resource she could find, she was putting on this one spot, and then she just kind of left the page there. And it was great for finding information. So realize that a lot of the time somebody else has done some of this stuff. So we can, we're big fans of A Scout is Thrifty. I've never met a good idea I didn't steal, or, turn it into my own. So that is a great resource right there. Some other ones that are, again, part of the BSA, but not on the national page is, so we all see Scout Life, right? So, Scouts, if they want to get the subscription to it, can get a copy of Scout Life delivered to their home. They can also get it electronically. Great magazine, great resource material. I get it at my house. No, it's not my own personal subscription. I read my kids. But I do read my kids, because in there, they're always following a theme. The magazine is running a theme. And as you look at it, just look along the top. Look at the topics: how to make a hardware chess set, duct tape wallet. They talk about voting on different things, but how to make a solar powered oven. Then there's games on there for kids to play as well. And don't get me wrong, I may have tested a few of them out for appropriateness, and they're a little fun. Pinewood Derby's coming up, how we make those and get those ready to do it. So a wide variety of projects. And remember, Scouts Life is written age appropriate. So, the magazines that you get at home, depending if you got Cub Scouts or Scouts BSA, will be slightly tailored a little bit for those age groups. But on the same term, when you come on here, you can find projects. And the great thing is searchable. So you can come up here and search for the topic that you're looking for. And then you can use that as another set of references for you to develop. And it'll have stuff that you can download, print out, screenshots of. So just another tool to be used. On that same avenue, where we have the youth magazine, we have Scouting Magazine, which is for the adults, as a part of your registration. Everyone gets Scouting Magazine. Hopefully you at least glance through it. There's always good information that comes out there every couple of months that go through there. Excuse me. But at the same time, this does have the same type of topics, more appropriate for adult age. And you can start reading through these things here, and you can search the material as well. So the archived articles, you can see Hitting Scouts, BSA, Cub Scouting, Leaders, Training Outdoors Gear. Aaron on Scouting is another great resource. If you haven't subscribed to this, I would encourage it. Aaron on Scouting puts out on a fairly regular basis questions, comments, concerns, things people have asked, and then they send out the answers, and it comes as part of a newsletter that comes out once in a while. And it's an electronic newsletter, but you can always go on here and look for that. So especially when people go, I know there was something about, what are service hours? Well, come in here and take a look to see if someone did the errand on scouting and asked the question, and if they had an answer on what are service hours, what do you count as a leader, or can I ask these types of questions at board of review? Those topics have come up. It's kind of consider that a national version of ongoing development, ongoing training. So those are a lot of the good information that's out there. The other one I'll reference as well is My Desk Scouting. When you go into My Desk Scouting, there is a variety of training that's out there. When you get into My Desk Scouting, you have access to Scouting U, which is the Scouting University for training. And there's a variety of topics that are out there. Sorry, I should have actually had this one logged in already. So when you get over here to your My Desk Scouting, which, by the way, it was on one of the slides that was running in our background earlier, this or in Scoutbook, depending what goes on in your unit, is where you can update your contact information. That's hugely important. If you want to be getting the emails for, registration, youth protection coming up to being expired, we send out emails via Scoutbook as a council in districts to keep you informed and up to date. But if it's not up to date here, you're not going to get it. So, it's easy enough to fix under your profile to update your email, your mailing address, phone number changes. This is where it would happen at, or you can do it under your profile in Scoutbook if you and your unit have been using Scoutbook. But through in here, obviously the quick link right into youth protection training, that will take you right into youth protection. I'm just scrolling to show you some of the quick spots. Scouting Wire is a another area of avenue. It's more written towards overly dedicated volunteers, I guess is the way I'll call it. They're not. It has more not unit level information. I don't want to call it higher because national supports the territory supports the council supports the district supports the unit supports the scout. But I'll say it's written more towards things that impact on a broader reaching scale than a direct unit impact, but there is always good information to stay up to date on what's going on. So we get into my training in here, and then there is a variety of training areas that you can take. And just because somebody shows up, they're not all right there. You'll be able to get right into Scouting U and be able to take other trainings on here. So if I wanted to do something, let's just say Cub Scout specific. So here are trainings that are there, but we can also search in the catalog for additional Cub Scout trainings to see what resources are out there for it. Great thing to take. I can tell you that if you don't have the My Desk Scouting app on your phone, if you have a smartphone, you can put it there and you can take the trainings right from your phone. So, a lot of times I'm out walking my dog and I will listen to the trainings as I'm walking to knock some of that out. Or if I'm a passenger in a car, I do not do it while I'm driving the car, passenger in a car. So Scouting U has a lot of trainings. They're always adding more to it. So I would encourage going in and taking a look in there. It's a great resource as well. So we've talked about a lot of resources tonight that are out there to help the new leader plan. The other part that's out there as always is, training with your district training, position specific training, whether you meet up in your district and take the training in person, or if you go online and take position specifics, I would encourage taking that as soon as possible. And I would encourage, if you're not the new leader in your unit, but you have new leaders, that you encourage them to take the training or contact your district training chair about them arranging a training in your district to do it. In-person training is awesome. Roundtable, of course, if your district is doing roundtable in person right now, which right now is Bighorn, in-person roundtables are a great source of information and getting together. Council roundtables, I think, are okay to get some of the information that's out there and share it all along. So, but the biggest source of information is each other. We've got people who've been here for a little while. We've got people who've been here for a very long time, and we've all developed our own resources, and we've tried it different ways. And just getting together with people at district and council events and activities is a great time to talk and share those resources around. So I would strongly encourage doing it. Same thing, we have our water cooler up on Facebook. If you're not a member of the water cooler, then please join the group of the water cooler for the Five Rivers Council. We put up information there up all the time, and I would encourage you to share as well. If you find a great resource for you for scouting, share it. Let us know and put it up there, because it's not meant for the council to be pushing out all the information. It's truly meant for us to be sharing information amongst each other and getting the information out there, because we are our own best resources that are out there. Okay, with that is my roundtable presentation. Are there any questions, comments, concerns, anything anyone wants to throw in about, hey, I've seen this resource, this is great, or you've really been looking for a resource, you don't know where it is, and you want to ask right now about where is this? And I'll be happy to do my best. No? Was that comprehensive? I covered everything? I'm pretty proud of myself then. Okay, well, I thank you for coming. We're going to be breaking out to our district rooms in just a second. Next month's roundtable, please come. Have new leaders join us as well. Everybody's welcome. Next month, we'll be covering on Pinewood Derbies in the Cub Scout area. And with those coming up, right, never too early to start planning your Pinewood Derbies and getting them ready. And on the Scout side, we'll be talking about, developing our youth leadership and the different opportunities that are available there for youth leadership development, both in your unit and outside of your unit. So with that, thank you. We're going to start breaking out to your district rooms. After the district is over with, if you join us back, you'll be able to either just leave or come back to the main room where you first checked in at, and we will have that PowerPoint running again with the information so that you'll be able to get knocked out in case you needed a copy of it all. Again, thank you.